If you're over 60, this message could truly save your independence. I'm not talking about a quick health tip or the usual advice to walk more or eat less sugar. I'm talking about something far more urgent. Something I've seen silently steal the lives, the memories, and the movement of people who thought they were doing everything right. Every week in my practice as a neurologist, I meet patients who were perfectly fine. Until one morning, they weren't. One minute, they were making toast. The next, their speech had slurred, their arm had gone weak, or they couldn't remember their own address. A silent stroke. And the scariest part? It didn't happen after some wild night out. It happened in their sleep. I've watched too many good people lose everything. Not because they ignored their health, but because they didn't realize how dangerous the small habits can be. And perhaps the most overlooked habit is this: what you eat before bed. Yes, that harmless little snack. The cheese, the cookie, the slice of meat you've always enjoyed after dinner, maybe quietly damaging your brain while you sleep. How? Because, after 60, your blood vessels change. Your brain becomes more sensitive to blood pressure spikes, sugar crashes, and dehydration. And when the wrong food hits your system during the most vulnerable hours of the night, your nervous system reacts. Not with pain, not with a warning, but with silence. And sometimes that silence ends in a stroke. What if that bedtime treat you've come to enjoy is quietly becoming a nightly threat? If this makes you feel uneasy, good. That means you're paying attention. Because this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Let's talk about the 5 bedtime snacks that could be raising your stroke risk while you sleep, and what you can eat instead to protect your speech, your memory, your balance, and your independence. But what if the danger isn't loud? What if it doesn't come with pain or warning signs? What if the real threat to your brain happens while you sleep, when you feel the safest? Because the truth is, many strokes don't start with a bang. They start with a quiet choice. A bite of something you trust. A bedtime snack you've had for years. And while it may feel comforting, your brain could be paying the price in silence. Stay with me. Because the next thing you reach for tonight might matter more than you ever imagined. Before we dive into the 5 foods you need to know about, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. If you're someone who cares about staying sharp, staying strong, and staying independent as you age, this is where you belong. We share real science, real stories, and simple actions that can help protect your brain. One habit at a time. And if you find this message helpful as we go along, type the number 1 in the comments. That way, I know you're here with me. If not, just type 0. It helps me understand what you need and how I can make this better for you. Let's keep going, because the first food on our list might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Let's start with something that feels so innocent. Cookies. A couple of chocolate chip cookies before bed. Maybe oatmeal raisin. It's a habit you picked up years ago. You've earned it. You're winding down after a long day. What harm could it do? The answer: more than you think. See, cookies, especially store-bought or processed ones, are packed with refined sugar and simple carbs. They taste soft and sweet. But behind that comfort is a powerful disruption to your body's nighttime rhythms. Here's what happens. You eat the cookies. Your blood sugar rises fast. Your pancreas scrambles to release insulin. And then, a few hours later, usually around 2 to 4 a.m., your sugar crashes. Now you might be thinking, so what? I'm asleep by then. But your brain isn't. That sugar crash triggers your nervous system. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are released to jolt your system back into balance. Your heart rate rises. Your blood pressure spikes. Your brain's blood vessels tighten, then struggle to keep up. And if you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, or stiff arteries, this roller coaster can set the stage for something serious, like a silent stroke. It happens without pain, without warning, and sometimes without a chance to react. I remember one patient, Robert Dean. He was 76, retired firefighter, tough, independent, proud. Every night, 2 oatmeal raisin cookies before bed. Better than ice cream, he told me. One morning, his wife found him slurring his words. His mouth drooped on one side. A scan revealed a lacunar stroke, a deep, small stroke caused by damage to the brain's tiny blood vessels. When we looked at his glucose patterns, it was clear. Night after night, the sugar spikes and crashes had been putting silent pressure on his brain. Robert recovered, but not fully. He walks with a limp now. He struggles to find words when he's tired. And I'll never forget what he said to me. "Doc, I thought I was treating myself. I didn't know I was hurting myself." That hit me, because how many people are doing the same thing right now? Thinking they're relaxing, rewarding themselves, enjoying a bit of comfort. But instead of comfort, they're creating chaos in the most sensitive part of their body, the brain. Instead of peace, they're inviting pressure. Instead of sleep, they're triggering stress. So the next time you reach for that cookie, pause and ask, is this helping me? Or silently hurting me? Now, let's talk about another bedtime favorite, cheese. For many older adults, it's a ritual. A slice of cheddar on a cracker while watching the 10 o'clock news. A comforting, familiar taste that feels safe. Sometimes, it even helps you fall asleep. But not all cheeses are created equal, especially after 60. There's a big difference between real cheese and what's called processed cheese food. You know the kind. Wrapped in plastic, bright orange, found in snack trays, or melted on fast food burgers. Processed cheese isn't just cheese. It's a mix of emulsifiers, preservatives, high sodium, saturated fats. And something else you probably haven't heard of, tyramine. Tyramine is a natural compound found in aged or processed foods. In the aging brain, tyramine can trigger vasoconstriction, a tightening of blood vessels, especially in the brain. And here's the problem. As we age, our arteries become less flexible. Blood pressure medications, dehydration, and existing vascular issues only make things more fragile. So when you eat processed cheese before bed, you're not just feeding a craving. You're potentially triggering a chain reaction. The sodium raises your blood pressure while you sleep. The tyramine narrows your blood vessels. The saturated fats add inflammation. And if your arteries are already stiff or weakened, that's a recipe for a nighttime stroke. I've seen it happen. Eleanor Simmons, 80 years old, retired school teacher, active, sharp, still walked every day. Her one indulgence? Sharp cheddar with wheat crackers every night before bed. She thought it helped her sleep. It reminded her of home. Then, one morning, her son found her confused. She couldn't remember what day it was. Her words came out slow and tangled. Scans showed a small but serious stroke. Her blood pressure had spiked overnight. Her sodium levels were high. Signs of vascular constriction were clear. Today, Eleanor uses a walker. Her memory isn't the same, and that slice of cheese, once a comfort, became a turning point. So let's make this clear. Not all cheese is dangerous. In fact, natural cheeses like mozzarella, goat cheese, or low-sodium cottage cheese can be part of a brain-friendly diet. But processed cheese food? That's where the hidden danger lies. So instead of reaching for that plastic-wrapped slice, try a spoon of ricotta or a bit of fresh mozzarella with tomato. Same comfort, far less risk, because after 60, every bite matters. And bedtime isn't the time to gamble with your brain. Next, let's open the fridge. Because if you're like many older adults, you probably have a few slices of deli meat on hand. Maybe it's ham, maybe turkey, maybe a bit of salami rolled up before bed. It's quick, it's easy, and it feels light, especially if you don't feel like cooking. But behind that convenience is a quiet danger. Processed meats like deli slices are loaded with nitrates and nitrites, preservatives used to make the meat last longer and look more appealing. And while these chemicals might not cause a reaction in younger bodies, they don't play so kindly with aging systems. Here's what happens. In your body, nitrates and nitrites can convert into compounds called nitrosamines. These trigger inflammation inside your blood vessels. They add oxidative stress to your brain, and they quietly erode the lining of your arteries. The very vessels that deliver oxygen to your memory, your speech, your balance. Now add in the sodium. One slice of deli meat can pack over 300 to 400 milligrams of salt. Eat a small sandwich? You've just taken in more than 1,000 milligrams before bed. That spike in sodium doesn't just bloat your fingers, it raises your blood pressure. It makes your heart pump harder. And when your brain is supposed to be resting, it's struggling to keep blood flowing smoothly. The result? Increased stroke risk. Especially at night, when your body is least prepared to fight back. Let me tell you about Robert Hale, 79 years old, a retired postman from Ohio. He lived alone, managed his own meals. Most nights, he'd make a quick ham sandwich before bed. It felt like the smart, simple thing to do. Until one morning, he collapsed by the kitchen sink, a silent stroke during sleep. By the time his neighbor found him, nearly 40 minutes had passed. He survived, but with limited mobility on his left side. Speech therapy, rehabilitation, a life that suddenly needed help for everything. And when we reviewed his habits? Deli meat 4 to 5 nights a week, usually just before bed. He thought he was saving time, but in truth, he was trading independence for convenience. So what can you do instead? Instead of cold cuts, try a boiled egg, or leftover roasted chicken from dinner, or even a small serving of plain Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of walnuts. Real food, no preservatives, no pressure spikes, just fuel your brain can recognize and your arteries can handle. Because after 60, your brain doesn't just need food, it needs protection. And the choices you make, even simple ones, can tip the scale between strength and struggle. Now let's talk about something that surprises almost everyone. Dark chocolate. You've heard it's healthy, good for the heart, full of antioxidants. And for years, you've probably felt good about having a square or two before bed. It's not candy. It's wellness, right? Well, not quite. See, dark chocolate does offer benefits. When eaten during the day, in moderation, and paired with other nutrient-rich foods. But at night, especially for people over 60, it's a different story. Here's why. Even high-quality dark chocolate contains sugar, caffeine, and theobromine, a natural stimulant. Now, let's break that down. The sugar, it spikes your glucose, then lets it crash in the middle of the night. Your nervous system wakes up. Your hormones surge. and your blood pressure may rise when it's supposed to be falling. The caffeine and theobromine, they stimulate your central nervous system. They keep your heart rate up, and they block your body's natural attempt to lower blood pressure during sleep. A protective dip that helps your brain recover overnight. So instead of rest, your brain stays alert. Instead of calm, there's subtle tension. And for older adults, this state of hyperarousal, night after night, can increase intracranial pressure. That means the pressure inside your skull builds quietly. Over time, that can damage blood vessels. It can mimic stroke symptoms. It can make you wake up dizzy, with headaches, or struggling to find words. I've seen this firsthand. Eleanor McBride, age 76, a retired art teacher, loved her rituals. Every night, one piece of 85% dark chocolate with her herbal tea. It helped her unwind, or so she thought. After a few weeks, she noticed blurry vision, then mild headaches, then confusion. An MRI revealed elevated intracranial pressure. No tumor, no trauma, just a slow buildup from a combination of aging, mild dehydration, and stimulants she didn't realize she was taking in. She caught it early. But she had to give up long reading sessions. She started light sensitivity medication. She now avoids even the tiniest dose of chocolate after sundown. It wasn't the chocolate itself. It was when she had it, and how her aging brain responded. So instead of ending your night with a square of dark chocolate, try a few blueberries, or a warm mug of golden milk, or almond butter on whole grain toast. You'll still get comfort, but without the caffeine, without the crash, and without the risk. Because your nighttime snack should help your brain rest, not make it fight to stay calm. Dried fruit. It seems so harmless. Raisins, apricots, a few dates before bed. It's fruit, right? Natural, full of fiber. Better than cookies. A smart choice. So we've been told. But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Dried fruit is concentrated. All the water is removed. But the sugar? It stays. And that means even a small handful can pack 15 to 30 grams of sugar. Almost as much as a candy bar. When you eat that sugar late at night, your blood sugar rises fast. Then it crashes, usually while you're in deep sleep. That crash triggers stress hormones, spikes blood pressure, and disrupts blood flow to the brain. And that's just the beginning. Dried fruits are also high in fiber and natural sugars that can pull water away from your tissues. That matters, because most older adults already walk a tightrope with hydration. Maybe you drink less at night to avoid bathroom trips. Maybe your kidneys don't conserve water like they used to. Maybe you just don't feel thirsty the way you once did. But here's the danger. Even mild overnight dehydration can thicken your blood. It increases clotting. And in the early morning hours, when your body is most vulnerable, it can push your brain into crisis. One study from 2023 found that while dried fruit may reduce the risk of some types of stroke during the day, the timing and quantity matter a lot. Late-night consumption in older adults, especially when paired with poor hydration, can have the opposite effect. Let me tell you about Charles Benson, 81, a retired librarian, clean eater, disciplined, proud of his healthy routine. Each night, 4 or 5 dried dates before bed. He believed they helped his digestion, helped him sleep. Then, one morning, he felt lightheaded. He fell getting out of bed. A trip to the ER confirmed it. A transient ischemic attack, a TIA, a mini-stroke. His blood sugar was low. His hydration levels were borderline. His kidneys were slowing down. That healthy habit had quietly pushed him into a dangerous state. Charles recovered. But his memory isn't what it was, and now he's more cautious. So here's the key. Dried fruit isn't evil, but at night, alone, without water, it becomes a hidden threat. Instead of dried dates or raisins before bed, try this. Half a banana, or a small bowl of fresh berries, or even better, a few slices of cucumber with a sprinkle of sea salt and a sip of warm water. You'll stay hydrated, you'll avoid sugar crashes, and you'll wake up with a clearer head. Because instead of draining your brain, these choices nourish it. And that's what bedtime is supposed to be. A chance to reset, not a risk you didn't see coming. At this point, you might be wondering, if cookies, cheese, deli meats, chocolate, and dried fruit are off the table, what's left? Good news? A lot. Because this isn't about going to bed hungry. It's about going to bed with peace and giving your brain the calm, steady support it needs to heal, reset, and stay sharp. Let's talk about 3 simple bedtime combinations that can nourish your brain without raising your risk. Combo 1. A boiled egg, half an avocado, and 1 slice of whole grain toast. The egg gives you protein, slow and steady energy. The avocado? Healthy fats and potassium to help balance blood pressure. And the toast offers just enough fiber to keep your blood sugar stable through the night. Instead of a cookie, you get calm. Instead of a sugar crash, you get lasting fuel. Combo 2. A small bowl of blueberries with a spoon of goat cheese or low-sodium cottage cheese. You still get that creamy texture without the sodium spike. And blueberries? They're loaded with antioxidants that support brain circulation. It's satisfying, it's simple, and it works with your brain, not against it. Combo 3. A tablespoon of almond butter on half a slice of whole grain toast, plus a small glass of room temperature water. This one is perfect for people who struggle with early morning dizziness. The healthy fat keeps your blood sugar steady. The fiber gives you staying power, and the water gently hydrates without waking you up for a bathroom trip. Want proof this works? Let me tell you about Carol Jennings. She's 73, a retired school principal from Arizona. Smart, disciplined, but she kept waking up lightheaded. She wasn't eating junk, just a few dried fruits and a healthy protein bar every night. But her morning blood pressure was unstable. Her brain felt foggy, so we rebuilt her nighttime routine. No powders, no pills, just food. She started eating a boiled egg, half an avocado, and a few blueberries before bed, with a little water. Within 2 weeks, she felt better. Her blood pressure normalized, her sleep deepened, and she told me, "Doc, I thought I needed supplements. Turns out, I just needed breakfast. Moved a few hours earlier." That's the point. Real food, in the right form and at the right time, can protect your brain more powerfully than most medications. So instead of habits that sabotage, choose rituals that restore. Your brain is still working while you sleep. Let's give it what it needs. Before we move to the final insights, I want to take a moment to speak directly to a special group watching this. The caregivers. Maybe you're looking after your aging parents. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's a neighbor, a friend, someone you love who's counting on you to keep them safe. I see you, and I know it's not easy. Because the truth is, most of the risks I've talked about today, they don't just affect individuals. They affect families. A stroke doesn't just take someone's speech or balance. It changes routines. It changes relationships. It turns quiet mornings into rehab appointments, simple meals into careful planning. It turns independence into dependence. And often, It's the caregiver, you, who carries the weight of that change. So let me offer this. You don't have to wait for a crisis to act. You can start small, tonight. Swap the salty snack for a soft-boiled egg. Replace the chocolate with a bowl of berries. Add a glass of water. Gently shift your loved one's habits, from what's familiar to what's protective. Because instead of reacting to illness, you'll be building resilience. Instead of trying to undo damage, you'll be preventing it. And that's not just a gift for them. It's a gift for you. One that says, I see what's coming. I choose to care now, not later. And if you've stayed with me this far, I know that's exactly the kind of person you are. Let's tackle a few quick questions, because I know some of you are already wondering. Question 1. Is Gatorade safe to drink at night? The short answer? Not really. While it does contain electrolytes, most versions are also high in sugar and artificial ingredients. At night, that sugar can spike your blood glucose, then crash it a few hours later, just like a cookie. Instead, try water with a pinch of sea salt and a splash of lemon. You'll stay hydrated, without the hidden sugar storm. Question 2. Should I avoid drinking water before bed? Not completely. Yes, you don't want to wake up 3 times to use the bathroom, but completely cutting off fluids in the evening can lead to overnight dehydration, and that raises stroke risk. Instead of stopping water entirely, drink a small glass about 1 hour before bed. Room temperature, sipped slowly. That gives your body time to absorb it before sleep. Question 3. Should I go completely plant-based at night? You don't have to. In fact, many seniors benefit from balanced snacks that include healthy fats and proteins. What matters more is quality and timing. So instead of cutting out all animal products, focus on avoiding processed foods and choosing real, gentle options your brain can trust. Because your brain doesn't care about labels, it cares about stability. And the right choices before bed can give it exactly that. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you. Because staying informed, staying curious, and staying open to change, those are acts of courage. And after 60, they matter more than ever. See, the real danger isn't just the cookie or the slice of cheese. It's the belief that small things don't matter, that our habits are harmless, that we can't change because it's too late. But here's the truth. Every day you wake up with clarity, with balance, with strength. That's a day you still get to drive, still get to speak your mind, still get to enjoy your independence, still get to hold the people you love, without needing help. And protecting that? It doesn't come from fear. It comes from awareness. Awareness is the medicine, not another pill, not another appointment. Just the simple act of asking, is this helping me or quietly hurting me? Because when you know better, you can choose better. And when you choose better, you build a life that still feels like yours. So tonight, when you go to the kitchen, pause, look at what's in your hand, then ask yourself, is this food loving my brain back? If it is, enjoy it. If it's not, swap it. Not out of guilt, but out of wisdom. Because that's what this stage of life is about. Not more fear, not more control, but more ownership, more freedom, more peace. And if this video helped you see something differently, share it. Send it to someone you care about. Start the conversation. Because the more we understand, the more we protect. Not just our bodies, but the lives we love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring. And thank you for giving your brain the respect it deserves. I'll see you in the next video.